Here we go. Mm. Oh my! Well, what the hell was that I lost? Hello, folks. Today we're joined by a well-renowned builder, POI generator, and scenario developer, who with Ravien has co-developed the most successful scenario and download on Empyrion Workshop to date, Reforged Eden. He is also responsible for a litany of Zirax and Polaris builds, as well as the Forge Aerospace line of builds. He is also responsible for many brown pants alerts with his mighty Tovera, which has also served as a litmus test for combat builds. Currently, he is working on a highly anticipated sequel to his Reforged Galaxy scenario. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Vermillion. Hello there.
General Kenobi.
So, how did you get into Empyrion?
I was playing Space Engineers, and someone posted a screenshot of, well, Empyrion, and I was like, oh, that looks more creative. Oh, I'll play that. And here I am.
Were you an early backer of Empyrion?
No, I came in around Alpha 7 after watching Span's videos. He's been around longer than I have.
Yeah. So what? So that was the bigger draw for you is the creative aspect of it. Um, any survival appeal, or is just mainly creative?
Oh, both, because, well, yeah, there's more stuff to do. There was nothing to do in Space Engineers, yeah. Engineer a ship to do nothing. There's no enemies to fight, no objectives. And it was
Yeah,
boring.
yeah. There wasn't a. I guess that's one of the downsides of space engineers, or I guess you could look at it as the upside of Empyrion is that, yeah, you could generate a form, a build, but there just isn't that universe to, to play around in. Um, so what sparked your drive to mod Empyrion?
I was just not happy with the stuff that was available.
Yeah, and it
Yeah,
kind of felt like that maybe the game didn't offer options or some sort of gameplay or something to that effect, and wanted to take it in your hand, so to speak.
well, I started with making POIs for years for the vanilla game, and yeah, a lot of brown pants alerts for everyone back in those days. And
uh,
then I was like, oh, how can I make this POI deadlier? Well, I will make the game deadlier.
ah, um, so have you modded games before, or is Empyrean your first?
This is the first, and probably going to be my last, because it sucks to mod the game.
Uh, Energy draining, taxing. Is it?
It takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, and I mean, just making all the custom models takes days, and that's using prefab assets.
Okay. So were you ever like a DM or GM of pen and paper games, Dungeons and Dragons, that sort of thing?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Yeah, that seems to be maybe a common thread with some of the like POI generators and stuff is that they have a background with that, and so I guess that kind of carries over. Um, have other games influenced your scenario building? So, like, have you seen something in an MMO and been like, man, if we had that in Empyrion, that would be cool, or Reforged
Uh,
Galaxy?
Not really. I don't play a lot of MMOs. The MMOs I did play were all fantasy ones back in the day.
Yeah.
Ragnarok Online. The stuff that ends up in Reforged is based on all sorts of random stuff. Star Wars, Star Trek, Mass Effect, not Halo.
No. Okay, so those are some sci-fi themes. Or any other themes have an influence on your building?
No, not really.
Yeah, you're a big Star Trek fan, huh?
Not a big fan, but
Yeah. Okay.
I watched The Next Generation back in the day. Had a bunch of models. Had a phaser, tricorder, all that nerdy stuff.
That's cool. I don't think I've gone to that level with the Star Trek fandom. That's pretty cool. It's more of a Star Wars guy, lightsabers and such.
Yeah, I had those two.
So what advice would you offer to anyone wanting to get into scenario creation?
Start small. Don't try and do something ridiculous first, because you're not going to have the experience to do it. Because, I mean, look at Reforged Eden 1 and Galaxy 1 that's gone through, what, 4 or 5 years of development? And at this point, I've hit the wall of what I can do. So Reforged Galaxy and Eden 2 is coming with everything redone from scratch. Because I know what I'm doing now.
Um, so you mentioned using like what you have prefab 3D builds or 3D assets, or do you actually generate those yourself? Uh, Taking account to like the guns and stuff.
Well, if you fly over to the guns, which I see you've already laid out, these all come from a variety of Unity Store assets that cost money. And they come in pieces. You put them together however you want. Like, where are you?
I'm above you, looking at this gun here now. Okay.
Well, let's say the triple barrel dreadnought gun here that is very fancy. This is made of sets from MSGDI, who is an artist. They do the same models that are used as Empyrion's turrets and fixed weapons, so it's all related. You end up with some weird blocky thing. But these are from 3 different build sets or asset sets. You got the body of the turret, the 3 barrels, well, the joint of the barrel, the actual barrel itself, which is unique to the plasma cannons, are actually from a tank set, same artist,
Hmm.
and then there's the cap on the bottom to hide the missing textures. That's all 2 sets, and then you've got
Oh, did we lose you?
rocket launcher. That's another set entirely. I'm going to have to reconnect. Okay, so what was it saying?
You were talking about the rocket launchers. It's another
Well, yeah,
set.
these are all different sets. Most of them are from the same artist. Like the positron's barrel is from a pirate asset set, and no one cares about this stuff.
So it's I guess kind of like from the sounds of it, kind of like a construction set. You just mix and match some of the pieces.
Well, they're meant to be used generally as is. for a different kind of game, but, well, I'll use them however I want.
So they come in textured, or you have to do that?
They come textured, but some of these textures are not so good, and I need to go over them to make them paintable. Though there are limitations as of 1.8 that no longer supports custom color palettes. Vermillion, please fix.
Yeah. I don't want to see like pink stuff. Yes. So that's the thing. That's what holding that up with the colors. We're waiting on Alien to change that. As far as like the custom colors, that's something they need to do on their end.
Yeah. And of course, I made these a bit more fancy for Reforged Galaxy 2. Stuff I couldn't do I could do, but it's kind of lazy. For Reforged 1, like, no one even seems to show this off, so. I got no ammo. That's it.
Yeah, smoke damage.
They smoke.
It's actually a pretty good particle effect. So that's not too taxing on the system, right?
Now, the smoke there is like one particle.
Really,
So
that's one particle?
each cloud is one particle. The same thing with the giant planetary shields you might have seen, the bubbles. They're just one big particle.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, I was concerned maybe that would be a little more taxing in the system, but that's just one particle. That's not bad, actually.
And those guns are limited to 6, so even if they do get shot full holes and all smoking, it's only 6 guns. It's less taxing than just a thruster that's not on fire.
Yeah. Okay, so what sort of rules do you adhere to when you're doing POI making?
What kind of rules do you
Um,
mean?
so is there like should you design flaws into a build, or maybe shortcuts or anything to that effect? Um, or
Not
do you look to close up all like loopholes or anything to that effect?
Well, I usually put in alternative routes through dungeon POIs, but for most of the smaller faction POIs, they're generally linear.
Yeah.
Like you go in one door, you walk room to room, and eventually you end up at the core.
A couple deaths later, you end up at the core. You make it sound so easy. It's just a cakewalk. You're walking into a bakery. You're picking up picking up a pre-made order. No, I mean like sector command over here. Sector command for the first time. That's like a kill box. That's a murder fest.
I'm being disconnected again.
Okay.
Oh, no, I'm back. Safe.
Nice. Over here, it's sector command. So how long did it take you to make sector command?
Well, I started, and then I stopped, so 6 months.
6 months. Damn.
Well, yeah, because I started it, and then I went and built something else. And I was like, oh, I need to finish that.
Yeah, so that's a lot like all of us. All the builders will get started on a project and set it to the side because something else interests us. Um, so what would be like the most aggravating aspect of POI generation for you?
Hmm. I don't know. POIs are actually pretty easy. They're easy to build in player bases, so all you got to know is make sure it fits inside the box of its butt plate. and fill it with bad guys and loot.
Yeah. Is it annoying trying to get the spawners in, or is that, not so bad?
Spawners are generally fine. I just wish they had longer range and had larger detection downwards, because they can't detect underneath themselves to where the player is, which means anyone going upstairs into a spawner that is on the ground, on the floor above, doesn't trigger until they're in the room, and that results in the spawner dropping the enemy on front of or on top of them, and then they start screaming complaints to me. I can't make the spawners not suck.
Yeah.
I mean, I can flip them upside down. That works as well, but then they don't detect up. So anyone coming from above doesn't trigger them, and we get the same thing. But in most cases, if it's a room you can only go up into, the spawner will be pointing down. Like if you go into the sector command on any of the upper levels, the spawners should be pointing down, at least if it's one of the rooms that are accessible from the stairs.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, they are. See some at the top here. That makes sense. Okay, so the form of Tovera, what inspired that? How did this form come to be, this big hammerhead shape?
It's just the Zirax building style. Full offense, maximum number of weapons pointing forwards. Very angry design. Got a hammer. Got to smack him with it. Ramming. And of course, it's not a common design. You don't see this in other games and sci-fi series. It's not a common design. Most things are either wedge-shaped or they've got a saucer stuck on the front, like a Star Destroyer or the Enterprise.
Yeah,
Or they look like aircrafts. This is, I don't know what you'd call this.
unconventional, intimidating. Yeah, it's so that's definitely obvious. If for an offensive theme, it definitely sells this wide sweeping pain for uh stacking turrets on the front to get that full offensive firepower. That's definitely a thing there. Yeah, so very much the big baddie. I think this is probably referenced more often than any other type of build within the Galaxy, because it appears much more frequently. It's not like a corrupted area where you're, I have like special things going on. You got to go find a corrupted Zen 1 carrier or anything to that effect. No, this can just like show up on your local neighborhood. So it gets a lot of the attention, right? This is the big baddie. This is the big boss. Um, so this is our current version, and then you have the new one here.
Yes, the big beat stick. It's a new color scheme, the modern Zirax color scheme. I mean, according to the vanilla power for 2,000 years. So you expect them to look a bit more presentable with shiny, smooth, new builds, not rusty old piles of junk like we used to see. Like the old Tovera, look at it. It's got rough metal plates. It's junk. It's horrible. It's a poor man's ship.
It does look somewhat worn and somewhat inherited. Yeah, I do agree. I like the new color scheme for uh, Zirax. It's I don't know, maybe could I say less comical? I don't know. It's more believable. I like that softer palette, that kind of pastel looking red. Definitely dig that. It does look a lot more refined, which is a good thing. In my builds, I generally favor some of the smoother textures as opposed to the rough stuff. Something like a scar effect going on with some of the rougher textures. Kind of tend to pass on that. So So not only does the color palette appeal to me, but also the texture choices too. So let's take a look at the inside of this thing. So this is going to be a big baddie. This is like, you know, if this is boss level 60 right here, the old Tovera, then this is 100. So your thoughts are this should be like a co-op enemy?
Ideally, yes. Well, the original one was supposed to be a co-op one, but well, everyone just went and made ships to beat it, and that sucked. These became the go-to for farming quantums instead of the intended target, which was the legacy.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely love this interior. This is, you know, like I said before, this is probably your best interior work so far. Real good use of block work, and the colors look great in here. You have any plans to make this sort of a static POI?
Yes, I have several plans to make this. We'll make several of these into static POIs. There's both friendly and enemy
Okay,
targets.
that's going to be cool. So this is done from scratch, or did you take some of the old Tovera bits and pieces and?
It was done from scratch. The only thing that wasn't done from scratch is the back end, which is identical to the new destroyer, the new Emirate. So this is basically old Tovera shape, but with an Emirate shoved up its butt.
Yeah, this thing's beautiful. It's gonna be a shame that seeing them in space, they're gonna have to be chopped up in order to get inside of them. I don't know. I guess we could like disable the thrusters and then try boarding.
Well, the easiest way to beat it is to take out the thrusters because it has not many of them, and once you've taken out the thrusters, you can get inside. And once you're inside, it's much easier. Well, I mean, it's still filled with bad guys and sentry guns.
Yeah, looks like it's gonna be a kill box.
I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks menacing. It's got that vibe going on. So this is going to represent a transition to multiple cores with ships. So that should be interesting.
Yep, all of the new ships have multiple cores. Even the new POIs have multiple cores. Well, depending on their tier, because tier 1s only have one core. Tier 2 ships and POIs have two. Tier 3 ships and so on. And this is a tier 5, so 5 cores.
Damn, 5. I thought it was 3, but you got 5 in here.
No, the destroyer has got 3.
Okay. Yeah, they kind of have like a with these back nacelles, it's kind of got like a little bit of a Star Trek vibe. Is that what I'm looking at here? Kind of gets that feel.
I don't know, maybe. This Emirate is a complete redesign of the old one because I hated the old one. I designed that and I hate it, and Elion just keep using it for patch notes, like the title image. It's right there in your face over and over, and it's ugly as hell. Look at this thing. None of these pieces match together. None of the walls. It's horrible. Why did I submit this? The old one.
Yeah, the old
It's
one.
currently sitting in a lake where it belongs. I mean, look at it. It's got 3 bridges. What the hell was I thinking?
Yeah, you were thinking multiple bridges, I guess. I don't know. It's hilarious. I don't know. It still looks kind of cool. You know, it maybe hasn't aged as well. Like if you look at the color scheme, it's definitely night and day. But like, it's still got some cool vibes going on. You know, it's got some good.
Well, I use the face for the Tovera, the old Tovera.
Yeah.
It looks much more at home on the Tovera than it does on the Emirat.
Yeah, it could do it for a recolor. I think that's about it. Now
Maybe
yeah,
the old one will come back as like a warlord thing or a pirate, an old model ship that they've found and thought, hey, this works, but it doesn't because it's junk.
it does kind of stray from the theme though. Um, yeah.
And the core is like right on the bottom, so you can just hit the Emirat from the bottom and take out the core because that was just bad. I mean, it looks all right on the inside. It's just not all right in function.
Now, did you do the Cameron as well, or was that someone else's design?
That was originally someone else's design, but I overhauled it into a Zirax ship. It was being used as both Creel, Zirax, and Pirate for some reason as a freighter.
Wow, it's a freighter, really?
Yeah, there were different colored versions: a green one, a gray one, and a black one. The Camerat has not made a return in Reforged 2. It has been replaced by the Mercat,
Okay.
which is not a battle carrier, it's a medium carrier,
Yeah.
about equal to a frigate.
Yeah, the Cameron did have a very big blind spot on the back, so I guess maybe for the best that it goes away, or I don't know, maybe not. I guess some people would disagree. Okay, so Polaris.
Here is the new carrier over by the Emirat.
Okay. Yeah, that definitely. Yeah, those nacelles. That's a pretty cool take on it. That's interesting. I mean, it gives some variation to the Zirax form, but it stays within. So nice to see a little bit of boundary pushing there. We've got these side entrance hangers. That's pretty cool. Oh yeah, real nice. So this is what? How many cores in this one?
Two.
Two.
One here in the hangar and one at the end in the body of the ship.
Okay.
Pretty easy to get. You can just crack a hole straight through the roof or through the bottom. Maybe.
It's for me, it's a labyrinth. I get lost easy though.
Well, you're going to enjoy the new Tovera. That's a labyrinth too. Oh, not really. It's mostly straight corridors. But there is some places to get lost,
Yeah,
I think.
I think for a good while I'm enjoy hiding and running from the Nutzer. It looks it's definitely formidable. It doesn't look like it's gonna go easy. And then there's like the shield penetration mechanic coming, so that's yeah, I'd probably avoid a Tavera for a good while. Right? Um
Oh no, he's friendly. He loves kids.
right. It loves kids. Okay, so speaking of which, going to RG2. So, what's the motivation for the fundamental change to Reforged Galaxy 2? So, why not make like RG2's mechanic like RG1, but just with the new toys?
Reforged Galaxy and Eden 1's configs are based on vanilla because that was all there was to work with in the beginning, and things start to fall apart after 4 years of development and constant changes. You get all sorts of problems that crop up. I mean, people hate the status effect system, for example.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh no, I've been hit by a abomination. I've got space herpes and 6 other diseases. I've just killed the status effect system. It's much simpler for 2. And that means removing a whole lot of medical items, which I can't do from 1 because that would break stuff. And then there's, of course, a lot of blocks in Reforged Galaxy 1, which, of course, you can't remove because it will break save games, blueprints, all that stuff. Very bad.
Yeah, it's I'm glad you did the thing with the debuffs though, because it was really getting aggravating. Um, so like the was it the Malee alien, the one that is associated with the krill? I had one of those things swipe me, and that added 7 debuffs. So good to see that thing go away. Um, so now we've like transitioned to a new system where we're going to be having shield penetration. Is that what percentage is that at currently?
Well, it depends on the weapon. For the most part, it is only impact damage that penetrates, which for most weapons, which in these in 2, it is missiles, flak, artillery, plasma artillery, which you can now get in Reforged Galaxy 2, while in 1, they were just things to hit you with. Which, if you watched one of Spanger's streams, he took a ship against a small base that had a plasma artillery cannon on top, and it flattened his ship, and he lost everything. So there's only a few weapons that penetrate shields. And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
flak, however, does have explosions that will damage ships, not just the impact damage, because that's its special trait. You can see that on the turret if you look at it yourself, or the ammunition. I had to write it on on everything. So people will have to read at least one thing.
25% shield penetration. Now, is this just for vehicle weapons, or do small arms also have shield penetration?
Now that's something I haven't mentioned to anyone, which is that the handheld laser weapons can all penetrate shields. So that if you're trapped inside a shielded POI, you can destroy spawners, doors if you get stuck, and other destructible objects. However, the handheld laser weapons only do a very small amount of damage through shields, so don't rely on it. It's like for emergencies. Like,
Interesting.
oh no, the door is shut behind me and the shields are up and now I'm stuck. You can destroy the door and get out.
Okay, that's interesting. So just laser weapons, not anything else in that regard.
Just laser, they get the special stuff. But I'm talking about like it's an entire clip of laser rifle to take out a spawner.
Oh yeah, okay, so that's pretty significant. Um, so within the universe of Reforged Galaxy 2, do you imagine ships having defined characteristics such as big battleships being overtly sluggish, or maybe ships should be more specialized in this regard?
That would be nice, but I don't think it's ever going to happen because people don't do that. No matter how I build it, people will make their ships to annoy me immensely. Like everything was fine from like Alpha 12 Reforged Eden all the way up to what is it 1.4, and then out came the spin to win ships.
Yeah.
And then everyone's using it, and that just ruined the game. I had to keep buffing all of the enemy ships, all of the weapons, all of the shields to compete, and it just devalued all the other playstyles, which some people used still.
Yeah, I think yeah, so definitely with the multiple cores combined with the shield penetration, I think that's gonna do a good bit to mitigate against that. Um, so what features or mechanics are you working on to keep players interested? So we know of like some of the surface level stuff with builds. Is there anything else that you're working on, like deep core mechanics? Some things that can be upgraded or something to that effect.
Well, all of the thrusters can now be upgraded, though I don't know how many people are going to actually use them because I don't know. I don't know. I don't know anything.
uh, so I think like some of the smaller thrusters, I think that's going to get a lot of good play for upgrade value. Like if I'm thinking of some of my builds, like preserving some of the forms using the smaller thrusters and being able to upgrade those, I think that could be a good thing. Um, yeah, so that would be as far as like builds and stuff like that. Is there anything else you have that could be moddable or upgradable that the player has access to? Weapons or small arms or anything?
Well, yes, for the armor themselves, if you haven't read the patch notes, the armor is now broken down into 3 tiers. You have your craftables, which are now your light, medium, and heavy, which you couldn't craft before, but they only have 2 booster slots. You have your lootable and purchasable versions, which are your tier 2s that have 3 booster slots and slightly more durability and carry capacity. And then you've got your advanced / epic. I said it, epic. Epic armor that has all 4 booster slots and more durability and more carry capacity. And then there is the boosters themselves, which have been overhauled from scratch. Well, not so much scratch, but they're different. They have no downsides. You
Yay.
don't. You don't. You can put on an EVA booster and not lose your armor, except that I removed the EVA booster, so you can't put an EVA booster on. Sorry. That's being replaced with the insulation booster in function, but that only protects against cold with no armor loss. And there is also the, what is it called, the cooling booster,
Yeah.
which is the opposite of the insulation booster, which protects you from heat. So yeah, there's that for your armor. Much better customizability. No downsides, though the heavy armor is very slow without any boosters, so you will be very heavy and very well armored, just not fast.
I dig it.
And aside from the armor, there is the weapons. You can customize your weapons. If you look in the top floor of the Tovera, there's a weapons locker, which takes the place of the armor locker, but for guns. There's 4 of them in here. I don't think they actually work in creative.
Yeah. Ah, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
No, they just connects to the code.
Yeah, so that's pretty sweet, being able to mod weapons.
Yep, you can loot all sorts of upgrades for your guns and mount them to your weapon using the weapon locker.
I think that's definitely going to do a lot to help with immersion. If you could think of like a lot of the looter shooter games are successful in that aspect. They kind of have that treasure hunt aspect going still. There's a compulsion to go into a POI to look for that sort of thing, that next upgrade. So to see something like that in play, that's kind of cool. Now, is that something that could be done for, like, say, turrets or mounted weapons, or would that just be for small arms?
In theory, it is possible, but it is questionable at best. Sometimes it will, for some weapons it will work, for others it won't. Sometimes you'll need to be sitting in the seat, other times you'll have to not be sitting in the seat. I mean, you have you ever gotten the Strategos upgrade or class from the Sector Command?
Yes. Yes.
Well, that's one for your ship weapons, but it only works on the miniguns, minigun turrets, and Gatling guns because they are hit scan, and it doesn't work with missiles.
Hmm. That would definitely be interesting, though. I guess so. Speaking to that regard, the whole thing of me concepting about visualizing about some of the things that could compel people to play in the game. That sort of that loot chase. Do you think that's something that could go to the base game? I guess more so, like, what features do you think could improve Empyrion?
We're going to be here for an hour if we start on that. Well, the biggest thing that the game needs, so I'm sure there are some people that would disagree. No, I'm not going to start on that. That is the mass speed limit. The worst addition to the game at all, which is that a ship's mass caps its top speed. The heavier a ship, the slower it goes, and you end up with player ships moving 10 meters a second, which is horrible because they're heavy. Whereas these super heavy ships should be able to achieve the maximum speed of any capital vessel, provided it has time to build up this speed. The limiting factor being the acceleration. That would just getting rid of that limit, which is an artificial limit, would solve so many problems with gameplay. Because right now, everyone wants a super fast ship, but no one wants a super slow ship. But if the super slow ships could achieve speed but lose controllability, they would be viable.
Yeah, I could see that being a thing. That's sort of the for me with design as far as like the bigger ships. It's not so much the fact that the acceleration; it's the lack of top speed. So yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Definitely. Um, what else? What other sort of features would you like to see in the game?
For better base attacks,
Better base attacks.
you've seen base attacks, they suck. You
Yeah.
can't even mod them very well. They're horrible. You're stuck with one drone and a troop transport. There's no escalation. The attacks don't get harder. The enemies don't get stronger. You don't end up fighting a patrol vessel. There's no value in having a base. They could have easily put in, I don't know, a treasure carrier ship that comes along with a base attack so that you've got something to reward you when you shoot them down. I mean, obviously not a treasure carrier, because why would you send that to a base attack?
Yeah.
Like a new kind of drone which has got loot in it.
Uh, are there like any particular block shapes or device types that you would like to see added to the game? So
Well, we've got the long ramps, all the various big block shapes. We need those in vanilla, which are texturable, because we can't do that here. The structural ramps. We got a whole bunch of shapes, but they're crap.
yeah, I would definitely love to see those in like some was it 11.25 and maybe like some 33s and a couple other iterations, those family of blocks. That I definitely would love to see those. So once something like that is implemented, then you're talking about completely revolutionizing the aesthetic of the game overnight. So now we'd have like access to, Star Destroyer type themes, that sort of shaping. So we don't have to do the zigzag thing to emulate forms. Some of the more sweeping forms, the curves and stuff like that. We don't have to do sort of smoke and mirrors and masking to emulate those shapes. So I would definitely hope for something like that myself. Um, okay, so Polaris. This is one of my favorites, right? Uh, I think the I would have to say either like the Hoisin or the Skinya, probably the Hoisin, one of these two. This was like one of the biggest profound impacts it had on me as far as like starting my building. Um, I mean, I remember seeing something, seeing one of these guys, and it's like, man, there's nothing else like that in the galaxy, right? It just there's something so sleek and smooth about the look of it. It just looks great. I guess I don't know, is it the bridge, the color combination, the way the thrusters look, but yeah, these have definitely have played a major impact on me getting to into creative, because like this was my so I started building a couple things first, and then I saw this within the universe, and I took one and I started modding it. Like, man, if I'm gonna put this sort of effort in, I might as well generate something from the ground up. But yeah, these babies right here, these have been a major player in getting me going in creative. So definitely a lot of inspiration from those.
Yeah, they were some of my favorite ships to build back in the day when I did all the patrol vessels all in one go. And yes, they are very awesome looking, if I do say so myself.
They've aged really.
The builder was very skilled, I can see that.
They've aged really well. Um, so you've done work with Polaris and Zirax. Any other factions that I'm missing?
Legacy, I've
Like,
done most of their POIs, most of the Polaris, Zirax, the sub houses of Zirax. Let's go to the Epsilon, Rados. Who am I missing? Zenu. I'm sure there's someone else. I can't remember.
so you did some general building here with the Forge Aerospace. Um,
Well, that's my company.
nice. So you did this before POI generation, or was this something you did during?
I did it during. Some of these are not mine down here, like the javelin. That's not mine.
Is it
That
not?
was there was some other prefab from back in the day that I updated.
Oh, okay. Okay. The spider
The
tank.
rest are all mine. The rest are all mine.
Yeah. Yeah, that spider tank is definitely it's one of the eye catchers that I remember. It's like, man, there's nothing like this. It kind of between the spider tank and the Polaris Scarab, it kind of gives off like some Protoss vibes. I don't know if that was an inspiration for you or not.
I don't know what that is.
Protoss from StarCraft.
I played that a very, very long time ago and don't remember it.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. Yeah, it kind of has that look. Um, So the Maverick, this is also something that stuck with me as far as like the form, this outline. It's really an interesting shape. Then of course the Seer here, that's kind of like an attack helicopter look to it, sort of. It's very interesting as well. Oh, what you got here? That's pretty cool.
You probably won't be familiar with the Tachikoma. from Ghost in the Shell.
Okay, yeah, that's I know I have seen Ghost in the Shell, but it's been ages, man. Yeah, I wouldn't remember that for sure. Um, so anything you're working on now that you'd like to show? Where's the control console on that thing? That's like
Wow, it's fast. I didn't expect it to be this fast. It's missing the doors though.
ah, okay, so it's on the side. That's pretty slick, man. Yeah, so with RG2, your uh characteristics for HVs have definitely skyrocketed. So
They are very fast and funky now.
yeah, so are you working on anything right now that you'd like to reveal any sort of
Like what?
um any new projects that you look at implementing, or maybe you have like a construction set you're working on or anything to that effect?
Oh, I got tons of construction sets. Some of them I haven't released, like the Imperial Zirax one, which was used to make all of the new reforged POIs, which replace all of the vanilla ones, or at least they will. I need to. Oh, if I spawn these, I have to put them somewhere away from you because this is gonna impact performance. Where should I
Okay.
put them?
Uh, that's anywhere you want it. That's fine.
I will move further away. This will do.
Yeah, you did move quite a ways, didn't you? Where did you get off to?
I went somewhere. I don't know.
West or east? Okay.
South?
South.
I can't see the ship, so I must have gone a fair distance away.
Okay, I see. Okay, I'm here. Oh, this is pretty sweet, man. So these are all relatively recent for you. You've generated these.
I have made these over the last year or so. I made most of them all in like a couple of weeks' time with the build set for them, which I have not released because it's not finished. And yeah, that's about it. I'm lazy.
I don't know. This is pretty productive for me. I don't know if I'd call that lazy. I love these dishes, man. This is great. Dish and antenna. This is a good looking POI. These are all great, actually. It looks so good with the new color, man.
Oops, that one's floating.
Yeah, these are all beauties. Can't wait to run them.
It also goes for Polaris too. They got their own militarized POIs to fight because people have been wanting to kill them for a while, apparently.
Really? I can't imagine. That's kind of like a golden rule for me, is to never be hostile with Polaris. But I guess there's those people out there. Dirty Zirax scum. Oh, this is great. Polaris Depot T1. Yeah, these are awesome. So with RG2, would you be weeding out some of the older POIs and maybe giving these more of a preference, or what are you doing with that?
Well, the eventual plan is to remove all of the old ones and replace them with new ones. I hope.
That would certainly help with the overall aesthetic of improving the game there. Yeah, this is like night and day. Looking at some of the older POIs, this is great. So, which of your builds is your favorite? Damn, you're still throwing down. Oh my goodness, man. This is so I'd like to do a faction at some point, and it's kind of I can't do this, man. This is a lot, dude. This is insane. And so you generated all of this like over a year?
Oh no, this stuff took like a month.
Come on, man.
Well, that's what the build sets are for.
Right.
They let you mass produce these things.
Yeah, I mean, even still, I don't know. I would be kind of slow because it'd like be second guess. I'm like, yeah, should that texture be like bad, or I don't know. I guess when it comes to POI building, maybe it'll be different for me. Yeah, but that's cool to be able to mix and match some of these prefab pieces. So they'd have like the sections would have like the spawners and stuff in it already, or is that something you'd have to go back later and add? I haven't really looked at the constructor sets.
You have to put in the spawners and deco yourself. Basically, it gives you an empty building, and you have to fill it.
Okay.
And this also includes trader POIs, though I haven't done many of them. I'm not even going to bother putting down the talent ones because I've got like 60 of them, and they'll take all day to put down.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So going back, which of your builds is your favorite?
Of all of them, or of just these ones, or what?
I would say of all of them, of all your builds, which one is the one you most cherish?
I don't know. Probably the Tovera right now, the new one,
Yeah.
because that took an entire month to build. And I mean, you saw it. It's awesome. I mean, you can't use it in game, but
Yeah. I'm sure someone's going to be willing to convert it.
I used the old Tovera on a server back in 1.2 on Spanger's server. I think I scared the crap out of him because I flew past him. He wasn't expecting a Tovera to come barreling past him, but it worked. I mean, it needs 16 quantums to move, but it worked.
So which would be your least favorite? Which one do you not want?
Emerat. The old Emerat. I hate that thing.
that was an easy one. Yeah, real beauties, man. Very, very productive with these POIs. I can't believe it. I can't believe you just popped this. So all this you did in a month?
Yeah.
Okay, that's it, man. I'm gonna start.
These ones aren't actually finished. They still need to have new weapons and the shields added to them, which you've probably seen before. Many of them have placement slots for the new shield generators. Like the big base in the middle, the
Yeah.
Zirax Tier 2 base, which now has its bubble shield.
Health shield activated.
It's more visible at night, but you don't want it to be too visible during the day because otherwise people go, "Oh, I can't see what I'm shooting at," when
Right.
they try to attack the turrets.
Yeah, it's such a cool feature. So that will be usable on CVs. Is that players have access to that?
The bubble one, no, because it would look absolutely terrible. It's not lined up with a ship. I may make a available version that is for bases, but not for ships.
Hmm.
And there's a blue version for Polaris or players.
Good lighting. All right. Any last words? Any parting words for the audience? Or anything that you'd like to bring out? Maybe I didn't think of.
I don't know. Nope, I got nothing.
Okay. So, any parting words?
Nope, got nothing.
Okay.
I have
Awesome.
the social skills of a boulder.
So just good. Yeah. No, I mean, no, this went pretty well, dude. This is fine. I learned a lot. Okay, especially about how slow I am about build. Yeah, this is insane. I'd have.
It's much faster when you have a build set.
Yeah, yeah. So, is that something you do for the OPVs as well? Do you have like a build set for that, or you copy and paste?
No, you can't do a build set for the OPVs. They're too complex.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. So we have some bonus features here. We have a Xeno constructor that he's working on. So what do you have left before this hits workshop? The Xeno construction set.
There's still some more of the underground sections, which is I've only just started on this one to do underground builds, which are the ones that are just boxes. These ones are, well, it's pretty basic. It's just a corridors, some rooms, a ramp. As for the underground parts, which you can integrate into any of these sections, they all fit together, nice and neat, except for the corners, which I screwed up. I mean, they do go together, but it takes a lot of fiddling.
Glue, some gluing.
Glue, bit of duct tape.
So then we have our trader constructor set over here. This looks great with these skyscrapers.
Those are centerpieces. You basically stick them in the middle of an admin core POI and stick the other stuff around it at a lower level. So you don't actually go into the building. I mean, you can. There's room in there. You can stick whatever you want in there because they're empty. But you'd have one building and the actual accessible stuff on the ground floor, which would probably look terrible, but we'll find out. It's got the modules, the corridors, the big hangar-like spaces, dividers, walls, and some variants. I think I did put a build over there, the trader one over there, which uses all of the parts together, which aren't actually supposed to go together, but apparently they do. It looks really good.
Let's see, where did this thing get off to? Okay, here it is. Kind of that pyramid. Yeah, that looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it's the office building.
Oh, this is sweet, man. Nice use of curve blocks here, like that.
Yep, the trader uses a lot of round shapes. But not like the Legacy. Legacy is angry round.
Cool stairwell. Yeah, this has got good flow, man. These rounds are great for this. See, I like this pyramid. Take a look at this. Well, did you ever get into Stargate?
Yes. It is not a attack.
No, it is not.
Jafar tree.
Damn those Gua. Ooh.
Indeed.
It's a great seal compression.
No, it wasn't as terrible.
Did you what did you think of Atlantis? Are you more of an OG fan, or was Atlantis okay for you?
It was fine.
Hmm.
But what about Universe?
Yeah, that's the big question. Some people, some people love it or hate it. Me personally, I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it. It was never going to have another season because no one liked it. So I heard they're making a new season of Stargate with the original characters.
Really, I
I
did
heard
not.
about it
Did
like
not.
last year. I haven't heard anything since, so who knows?
Yeah, yeah. They're quite well. Richard Dean Anderson. I mean, how old is he now? He's like 70 or something.
Probably.
Yeah,
And he's fat.
yeah. There's that. So he'd have to lose a little bit of weight. His traders have a great 5, yeah. Yeah, really, really good execution with the rounds here, keeping it consistent. Very good. All right. Beautiful. Good use of LCDs in this one really sells the commerce scene. That's a real beauty. All right, that's so anything else? Any other surprises for us?
Surprises, surprises. There was one, but I can't remember what I named it. And I've got 900 blueprints, so I can't find the one. Give me a sec. Let me see if I can find it.
Okay. Can someone call maintenance to fix that draft coming from under the couch in the staff lounge? Team leader Hesh.
That's how you find the core. If
Ah.
you if you're picking a fight, you read the signs and they hide the core. See, yeah, right. Yeah,
Okay, let's see. All right, I am airborne.
it's a top floor in the lounge, under the sofa for that core.
Okay.
Of course, you can't get to it without destroying a block, which means you automatically turn to hostile if you do try and steal a whole POI without fighting anyone for the office building. I found it.
Okay, where did you get off to?
Straight up.
Straight up.
Oh no, the colors are gone on this block.
You went to space?
No, just in the air.
Okay.
I mean, space would be good too, but
Ah. Oh yeah, yeah. Sweet. Okay. I I did remember seeing this.
as you can see, there is some pink and purple on it, which is because this was made in 1.7 when it did support colors, custom colors.
So what should go in the center?
The entire space station. This is the habitation ring for traders or Polaris, whoever you want. Yeah. Plug a POI into the middle and an admin core, because you don't want people actually going to the ring, because the ring is not big enough to actually fit housing units. This is where the rest of the civilization of the galaxy live. Big superstructures like this, which are about as big as you can make in the game.
Um,
There are several variants, which are all got broken colors.
so is there a size class you try to adhere to when you're making POIs?
Depends on the size and complexity of the POI. Like for a dungeon, I will do whatever I want because it's supposed to be awesome, and it only spawns on its own. So there is that. But for the smaller POIs like the bases and the comm centers and the oxygen depots, they're usually under class 4 or 5.
I want to build a space station now.
Well, you can take multiple rings and stick them together, stick a POI in the middle, and boom. Or you just put your own base in the middle of it. Stick turrets on the outside.
I'd like to do something like take one of these and make a ship out of it. Have this like a center concentric ring. It's sort of like a habitation ring where the gravity would be. That sort of thing. That'd be pretty cool. All right. It's been a behind the scenes look with Vermillion, looking at some of these other construction sets and other gizmos and goodies. Anything else for us, sir? All right. That's it. Thank y'all for tuning into this episode of Artist Behind the Art with Vermillion. Catch y'all next time. All right, here we go, folks. We're going to take this mostly plastic warship and go against the new Tovera. Let's have a look at what we are. We are 949 of 950. We can see we have 6,000 carbon blocks, 6 steel stairs, and 73 windows. And that's about it. So I guess some of the devices are going to have to play bullet sponge. We are rocking, let's see, what is our weaponry here? So we got 10 turrets, 2 lasers, and the rest is missile turrets. Our weapon mounts are, we're going to go plasma cannon for dual effect, for shields and hull damage. See if we can work with that. We are set to target for the turrets, and yeah, turrets are set to target for turrets, rather. Our target Tovera is stationary, so that's a thing to consider as well. But being plastic, and the enemy turrets will have shield bleed through. Let's have a look. Now, I do have, let's see, actually, before we do that, let's go ahead and I'll show you what I've got so far. I've got a good amount of layers of plastic. We will start hitting some decoys. Got a couple thrusters here, of course, the vertical stuff. Lift and dorsal, those are going to be some targets. Fuel's kind of forward, so if those blow, that could be a thing. I do have a little bit back here. In case that happens. After that, we're going to be starting hitting into the shield parts. I've got a sandwich of plastic between them, but, you know, it's... What is that going to do, right? So, yeah. So... Okay, we've got 85,000 shields. We've got a decent shield recharge. It's like 9%, so... Hit and fade should be an option. Just depends on how long the plastic will last. Alright, without further ado, let's go get at it. Here we go. Oh my goodness. Well, what the hell was that I lost? I better back out. Can't back out because my thruster's got hit. Spin. Spin. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, so that was, what? Damage doesn't look that bad, actually. I don't know what all the explodey bits were. What's that all about? Okay, so I would have to have a more shield impactful build, but your plastic seems to be holding up okay so far, as long as the shields don't go down. Ooh. Back out here. Zero. Okay, so let's see about exploiting some of the potential weak spots of the Tovera. Its front arm, where most of its firepower is going to be, so let's see what happens if we hit it from a side angle. You know, again, granted, this is favorable situation with no movement coming off the Tovera. Maybe we can trade a little better on this side. Starting to take damage on the windows. Yeah, I mean, it looks like I could be in there a little longer, going on the sides. Can I out-recharge them? Yeah, I think I can out-recharge them. Whoa, that's a big chunk. 2%. Oh, yeah, that you'd have to be right on this guy. Can we? Is there a blind spot here? Let's have a look. I've probably lost my ship here. Alright, it's gonna hurt. see if we can pull out of this. 0.1% shield. Is that true? Did I just ace that at 0.1%? Nah, I didn't think so. Yeah, that's popping a respawn. Now this doesn't look too bad, actually. This is all plastic, so that's not, for considering the salvo that's coming out, that's not too bad. I don't know why the flashlight's not working. But that's, I don't know, dude, this game sometimes. Getting some better look in the sun. Yeah, so this is all plastic. This isn't too bad, actually. Considering all the salvo that was hitting. $15,000 on these glass sections. This is holding up pretty good. So you have to think, like, versus some of the smaller ships, you can probably see some success versus them with some bit of plastic. It shouldn't be too bad from what it feels. Of course, you'd want, at least some layers of steel in this situation. But if you're thinking like plastic for, for me, for example, if I'm thinking like the Kalis Deathwing, its wings are plastic. So, and I like these plastic for form designs. So this, this could potentially be a thing that still works. I guess I'm losing the decoys there. Yeah, whatever's in the bag, that was pretty nasty. Yeah, doing like wolf pack tactics. That could work. Pop out. Of course, for a prolonged fight, due to the depletion of blocks, that's a thing, right? So, how are you going to do this? Are you going to have like maybe some temporary drop-down bases in which you can repair? Maybe that's the new meta. Have like some mobile bases that you drop just with the repair pad and dump some resources in there. So it's, you're gonna be losing blocks regardless of what's happening due to the shield penetration, but on the flip side, also, the same can be said to be true for the enemy vehicles. Let's see about exploiting the nose. Is that an option? This is an older build that I worked on, so if some of you might be wondering, what is this thing? Yeah, it's like 3 years old, kind of one of my learning builds, whereas big thing here was learning how to do bridges and set up the slopes and stuff like that. And you see the back section here, the spoiler, that may look familiar because that ended up being transplanted onto the Hannibal. So I would say hold on to your builds because you never know what would spark inspiration, even if you don't finish them. Yeah, I don't think so. Don't think so. Alright, now it's gonna start hurting. Ugh. Let's go in. Grabbing speed. Yeah, okay, so well, that's, you know, it is what it is. I'm not gonna sweat it. That'll buff out. Matter of fact, I think we still have a ship here. We still have something worth flying. Okay, maybe not. Needs a core. Yeah, so it's, well, that's not too bad actually. I was thinking it'd be worse than that. Keep the shields up. Still should have some rigidity with plastic. It's, you know, the old game style's gone. Yeah, that's the thing, but this is actually not too bad. Maybe I'll do some other tests later and get back to y'all on like some of the smaller vehicles, but perhaps in the ideal configuration, maybe I don't have all of these plasmas, and maybe I'll just focus on like shield stripping stuff. Get the Tovera shield down and just kind of nitpick, surgically remove some of the turrets on the ship. Now that could be a thing. Yeah, so plastic. Is it gone? Can it still be viable? I don't know. Give me your thoughts in the comments below, and catch y'all next time. LyfeForce out. Hello, folks. If you enjoy my content, if you enjoy my builds, please consider becoming a patron today. As a patron, you get access to custom builds of release works, early access to some builds before they hit the workshop, exclusive builds. You also gain access to direct feedback and engagement through polls, idea suggestions regarding builds before and after workshop release. If this interests you, please check out the pinned comment below. Thank you.